start with the former. Let's start by talking about some of the games that people are looking forward to the most in 2020. And I think when you start looking at the games that people are looking forward to the most, uh, you know, we all know what's first and foremost on that list, right, Roots?
Yeah, yeah, that's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the game of games. What is being held already as the major turning point in the history of VR, Half-Life Alyx. Coming to us from Valve in March, $60. Um, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about this that hasn't been said, right?
Yeah, except for we can't get there soon enough. Man, I'm waiting for this game. This is one of highest anticipated games of the year.
Mine too. Mine too. And the funny thing is, neither of us have ever played Half Life, or you did recently, right? You played a little bit recently.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Half-Life 2. I found out how much of bastards those guards are as they're always shoving me around and hitting me with their sticks. And even for an older game, just the mechanics were next level. And I'm excited to see what Valve will do with this game. Like people like Gerillo are just like, man, this is going to be the best game ever. It's one of the biggest fans of Valve that I know is Gerillo, to be honest, and it's rubbed off on me. I'm ready to play this game.
Yeah. While I haven't played the Half Life games before, I wasn't a Half Life fan when they came out. Uh, I do know the history and I know the significance of those games, and that alone is what really excites me for Half Life Alyx. With the other two Half Life games, Valve used them as an agent for change within the gaming industry. And logic would serve that if they're doing a Half Life game in VR, after 12 years of people waiting for it, that the change that they're bringing about this time might be VR itself. I think that this is probably going to be Valve uh, giving the rest of the gaming industry an example of what you can do if you really apply yourself in VR and how powerful VR is as a medium for PC gaming.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so March can't get here soon enough. Or it's easy to say March can't get here soon enough, but then again, let's let March be in March because I'm pretty content with what's coming up in just a few weeks here in January because one of my most anticipated releases ever is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Now, Roots, I've said it many times on this game. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I knew about this game being in development from even before I even had a headset. This game is one of the reasons that I decided to get a VR headset because I knew that this day was coming and it's only 3 weeks away.
Yeah, and when you think about zombie games, at least in VR in the last couple of years, you have the shooting, you've got the zombies coming at you or whatever, but there was never the story, at least not in the way that this one is going to be. And we've even talked about it off the show how we kind of feel like, and maybe even on the show, we kind of feel like this is going to change the way storytelling's done in VR. This is going to be a game changer in the way that, it just looks like it's going to be next level in every way.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. Specifically when it comes to, VR zombie games, Arizona Sunshine was great for its time. Killing Floor Incursion and Contagion, both very good games. But, Arizona Sunshine's always been the standard. And what that game lacked was not only depth with the storytelling, but with the environmental scavenging. They gave you enough to make you want to look around for ammo, but that's all you could find. An occasional gun, some ammo. They didn't tell a story with the environments. They didn't tell a story with the characters. It was just you and the zombies pretty much. And I feel like the Saints and Sinners is going to everything that was a weakness in Arizona Sunshine is going to be the strength of this game,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, I just keep thinking about how much I love Telltale stories, and just how that to me it seems like that's being brought into this because of some of the people that work for them, and just the way that you can alter your story. I'm really intrigued to see. You know, I know a lot of people are going to go right in because they show in some of the teasers that I've seen where, you know, you get to decide whether that one guy lives or dies. You know, some people are just going to kill that fucker, man. And I don't know that Roots can do it, man. Every game I play in, I think there's something to it. I don't know what it is, but I can't be the bad guy, man. I gotta save people. I can't, you know, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, well, I'm willing to bet that that guy, he's no saint himself, and what any apocalyptic narrative, any good one anyway, does to you is it allows you to see that not everything is black and white, and most things aren't black and white at all. That there's shades of gray in between with all of this. So I wouldn't be shocked to find out that that guy's done his share of crime to these guys that have him captured.
Wes is already killing. He's already killed him in his mind, dude. He's gonna go in there. He's gonna fucking blow
That's
it.
a dead man.
Oh man.
No, but yeah, what you're saying here absolutely true. It's going to give us something that's rather uncommon in VR story-driven games, and that's replayability. You're going to play through this thing once. Your choices are going to affect the storyline, if it is how it says it is. Obviously, we haven't played it yet, but if it is as it appears to be, you're going to be able to play through this game 2 or 3 times and get a different experience each time. And that has a lot of value. And it needs to have a lot of value if you're going to charge $40 or $50 for a game the way that they're charging for this one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of that's the brand, you know. I mean, everybody knows Walking Dead, but you know, it's got me already. I'm ready to buy it. So, you know, pre-order that.
For sure, me too.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm interested. Anybody in the comments, let us know if you're gonna get the backpack. You know what they call it, the tower pack. You know, you're gonna get that backpack. No, it's called the tower pack. I just saw it on the preview at the end. If you're gonna get the tower pack, let us know, because you know, I mean, there are people that are into collectibles, and I just want to know the mindset. Let me know, you know, what it is about it, because for me, it's just money floating out the window. So, you know.
Yeah. 3 tiers here, ladies and gentlemen. $40, $50, $150. Available for pre-order now from Skydance Interactive. Releasing initially on all major PC platforms. Coming to PlayStation VR at a later date. And interestingly, Roots, you see it there, Oculus Quest later this year. Now that is nearly unbelievable to me. What did you think when you saw that they were bringing this game to Quest?
Man, I don't know how these magicians, what they do with this shit, man. You know, at some point, I don't even care. Just fucking make it work. I'll be amazed, you know, because yeah, there's so much to this. How do you put it on the Quest? So, you know,
people are doing more and more with the Quest these days. You'd be surprised at how good some of these games look.
We need to do a Monday show topic soon about I've seen some stuff going on with Quest and denying some big name titles recently, and that's just like crazy. So anyway.
Yeah, well, that would be a part 2 because we did that on the Monday show. But yeah, you're right. More have cropped up. It might be time to revisit the subject.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So we've got Half-Life Alyx. We've got The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. I mean, that's already, you know, 2 heavy hitter titles confirmed for 2020. What about Medal of Honor Above and Beyond? You know, with Half-Life Alyx being announced, this one has kind of fallen under the radar a little bit amongst, you know, the bigger games. Not as many people talking about this one anymore, and I don't understand it. This game looks tremendous in my opinion.
I think people forgot, Wes. I think there's a lot of people out there don't even know this is coming. You know, people that maybe just got into VR in the last month, 2 months. They're like, what? Medal of Honor? Are you kidding me? There's a Medal of Honor game? You know, people don't realize this. Medal of Honor was the Call of Duty before Call of Duty was, you know. So I think that if they do this right, it can be an amazing title, and I'm really psyched to check it out.
Yeah, Medal of Honor franchise known for situational gameplay. So you're going to be put into a lot of different scenes, a lot of different gameplay styles. You're going to have to think on your feet to make it through. Generally story based and generally rooted in history, which I think is a really, really cool thing, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I would hear a lot of people complain about this probably is, you know, everybody wants, like I said, a Call of Duty in VR, and this is the Call of Duty story version. You know, how there's always a campaign, you know, and they'll get to the multiplayer eventually. So.
Yeah. Well, they did say that there are going to be multiplayer modes in this. We don't know what that's going to entail, but for as far as Call of Duty goes, Call of Duty is good at doing its one thing, but when you talk about a game like Medal of Honor, this is going to be orders of magnitude more diverse in terms of gameplay than Call of Duty. This is going to have puzzles. It's going to have first-person shooting. It's going to have stealth missions. It's going to have all kinds of different gameplay, and I think that's great. I like games that give you a lot of different stuff to do, and especially coming from a team like Respawn, you just know that this is going to be one of the best games we've ever played in VR.
It looks badass. Yeah, looks amazing.
Yeah, so coming later this year, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, definitely one of my most anticipated games of the year. All right, moving on to a one that we're, again, not far, just right around the corner. February 28th brings us Marvel's Iron Man VR. This is coming to us from Camouflage, the team that brought us Republic, and it's already available for pre-order at $40. Ruuts, this game, like Medal of Honor, gone quiet over the last couple of months as far as new news, new footage. But what we did get from this later in the later part of 2019, every time we saw more of it, I got more hyped for it. And whereas initially I just thought it might be an okay game, it just keeps looking better and better and better. And now I'm really, really pumped. I think that this has a lot of potential, even as a move controller game.
Yeah, I'm kind of psyched for it. The biggest thing about this that made me psyched about it is the fact that everybody that's tried it walked away with really good things to say. And you know, a lot of these games that come out were blind until they drop. No one's came out. No one's, you know, this has been at several different displays, correct? Where people have got to try not awards. I don't know what the fuck they're called. The shows and stuff. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's been at a few trade shows. And yeah, everyone who plays it seems to be very impressed with it. They say that this is a PlayStation VR game that plays with move controllers, but it feels like a PC VR game. It's got perfect tracking. It feels like it's 360, even though it's a single camera setup. And most people that have played it, including our good friend Gamertag VR, said it was phenomenal. Just a great experience.
Yeah, another reason to have a PlayStation VR. So
yeah. And again, just right around the corner. PSVR's got a few solid titles announced for 2020 already, but none of them quite on the level of Marvel's Iron Man VR. I think this game looks outstanding.
Yeah.
All right. From there we go to an Oculus exclusive, Lone Echo 2, coming from Ready at Dawn, rumored for Q2 this year. I know that it's very far along in development at this point. When you think about Ready at Dawn and you think about Lone Echo, synonymous with great visuals and innovative locomotion style, right?
Yeah, it was the first one where you actually felt like you couldn't clip through things. You were pushing off of walls and floating around, and it just felt good, right? And the story is where it really gripped people. Now I haven't gotten far enough to really where it's gripped me. We were just talking about it a little while ago. I spent like an hour and a half groping Olivia, and I missed out on playing it, and I kind of drifted past it. I need to go back and I need to play this again, because people, they kind of, it's like Farpoint, right? You said that there's an event or a moment where things change, kind of like the same thing here. Everybody says there's something that happens and everything changes, and I haven't reached that point. I'm just a fucking robot that gets told to go do a bunch of shit, and I'm like, man, I don't want to go do more chores for you, bitch, you know. So, excuse my language. But yeah, I just, you know, it's just one of those things that I want to get back into it, because I know there's more to this thing, and I want to try the second one. I want to finish the first one first. So
Right. That's the thing, right? The second one's coming. So what are you going to do? Just pick it up and without finishing the first one? No, of course not. And here's what I can say about Lone Echo. You know, it's been out for a few years now, and I don't know if I, to this day, can think of a better looking human character in VR than the ones that are in this game. I mean, this thing looks about as real as I've ever experienced, and it holds up even today, right?
did you just call Olivia a thing? She's a human being. She's got feelings.
Did I say a thing? I'm pretty sure that I didn't.
I think you were talking about the game, but yeah.
Anyway, even with the high level VR games that came out at the end of 2019, I feel like Lone Echo, and especially the human characters in the game, graphically hold up even today, right?
Yeah, actually, and it looks really next level almost. You know, and LA Noire was ahead of its time, and when they brought that into VR, I thought that looked amazing. But yeah, I think that the facial models of of her as well looks really good.
Yeah, ahead of its time. I mean, it's hard to believe that they were doing this years ago, and I think more than anything, that excites me about the sequel, because if they were doing this kind of work, then what kind of work are they going to do today, right?
Yeah, and what did they add to it? I'm kind of excited to see. You know.
Well, they say that the gameplay is more expansive, that it's not, you know, the first one's more like an interactive movie, and this next one's supposed to be a little more game-like.
Yeah, and I guess when this one first came out, it was everyone was getting into VR, and so they were really showcasing just doing stuff, you know, using your hands. And by the time I played it, which was like 6 months ago, I had already figured out how to use my VR hands for quite a while, you know.
Well, you really learned how to use them in this game, right? On Olivia?
Yeah. Well, I was telling you, one of the funnest things is like when you grab on her and she like drags you around and you can just hitch a ride. It's cool.
So what's worse, Roots, to refer to her as a thing or to treat her like a thing, buddy?
I think probably treat, you know, saying is one thing, right?
All right, but Lone Echo 2, definitely one of the top most anticipated upcoming releases. You know, anything that you can tie the word Oculus exclusive to has got my attention right off the bat these days.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got developers or the people working on it and the money put behind it. So,
yeah, for sure. Another big name title coming up that we're looking forward to in 2020, After the Fall. After the Fall coming to us from Vertigo Games, rumored for Q2 as well. You know, another progression from the Arizona Sunshine zombie shooter genre, but looks like a bigger, more expansive world. And the coolest thing I think about this is up to 4-player co-op, right?
Yeah, which is very different, right? In VR. I mean, they want to, anytime you get up to 4 people, usually it's fighting against each other. I want to play with some people, man. I want to play against the computer. You know, we need to join against this AI right now before it gets out of control. Because we're heading there. But no, yeah, 4, that sounds amazing. And look at all these zombies, man. This is probably my most anticipated zombie game after Saints and Sinners. And especially, this is kind of reminds me of what I've said I was hoping Valve will do with Left 4 Dead, and this will be a good thing to tide us over until then.
Yeah, I think that I think you're gonna, if you took Arizona Sunshine and you crossed it with Evasion and then threw it in a freezer, I think that you would get this game. I think that it's going to take the zombie atmosphere of Arizona Sunshine, and it's going to be a little more arcadey, kind of like Evasion was, with the tons of enemies coming at you, some bigger ones, some smaller ones. It's going to get to the point where it's difficult to beat some of these levels without help from friends, like Evasion, and again, just put it in the freezer, freeze everything over like this, nuclear winter or whatever, and then you have After the Fall. And while it might seem a bit like a cliche recipe, I think it's going to be very effective. I think it's going to be fun, and that's really all it needs to be, right?
Yeah, it looks really good. So it's on my list of games I'm looking forward to anyway.
Yeah, what a year. I mean, let's say we stop the list here. We've got Half-Life Alyx, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Medal of Honor, Above and Beyond, Marvel's Iron Man VR, Lone Echo 2, and After the Fall. So let's say that's all we knew about for 2020. Excitement level through the roof, right?
Yeah, because each one of them is amazing in their own right. So, yeah, but the good news is we don't have to stop there. We've got plenty of other ones coming.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about Phantom Covert Ops for a second. Again, I just said it a minute ago, Roots. Anything that says Oculus exclusive, Oculus Studios on it, you know, you've got my attention right there, right?
Yeah. And what's funny about this one is I always think about this every time, is like when we first initially heard about this, we all laughed about it. And we were like, what? Like a sniper or a shooter game, you know, stealth in a canoe, or I guess is it a canoe or a kayak, right? And
yeah, it's a kayak, I think.
Yeah, but then we watched the gameplay and listen to them explain it, and there's just so much to this. It just looks amazing.
Yeah, man, it does, and it just goes to show you how quickly things can change, because we just learned about this 6 months ago, and it was a joke to us at that point. What, you're going to do, a shooter from a boat? Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? But now we're all about, you know, give me something different. Give me something I haven't seen before. And if nothing else, this is that, right? This is unique and original.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like all the VR games that are worth anything are different in some way. They each have something different. So this has got all sorts of shit different. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, getting us ready for Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Venice, so we can raid the once free streets of Venice, Italy, right?
Yeah.
So we already talked about The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, and you know that game has gotten such a reception since its reveal that a lot of people are forgetting about The Walking Dead Onslaught from Survios. You know, The Walking Dead is a very popular franchise, especially in the United States, but worldwide. And it isn't because of the comic book so much as the television show. And what The Walking Dead Onslaught is the official VR game of the Walking Dead television show. And while Saints and Sinners may be this next level storytelling experience, I think Onslaught's going to be a lot like what we said about After the Fall, an arcade style game that's just fun, and really that's all it needs to be, right? Just be fun.
Yeah, it's more arcade style, and it looks good though, right? At least the graphics here, and so it's we're kind of up in the air as far as more gameplay. They've showed some, but not much, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with this is, they did their job selling it from the perspective of giving us teasers with our favorite characters and these weapons. They've given us some general descriptions about the gameplay, but really we need to know more about what the campaigns in this game are going to be like. Really, that's the big question here. But I do have faith, one, not only because it's coming from Servios, but two, because it's been delayed. Saints and Sinners came out and set an example, set the bar, and rather than beat Saints and Sinners to market, which they very well could have, they pulled it in. They reined it in, said, you know what, we can make it better. And for that alone, I'm still very excited for this game.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Roots. I hesitate to say this because we've been saying it for such a long time now, but whatever happened to Population 1?
I don't know, man. I know there were some people, they put out a beta, right? And people were couldn't talk about it and were raving about it as far as much as they could. And then it just kind of disappeared, right? It's supposed to be the Fortnite of VR.
Yeah, that's it, right? Everybody says Fortnite or VR needs its own Fortnite game. Well, this was supposed to be it. And people played this game. They said it was pretty much finished and that it was awesome and that it was coming. And then it was delayed, and then it was coming, and then it was delayed, and then it was coming. And that was it. We never heard anything else about it. It just kind of went away. Supposedly it's still coming from Big Box VR, but we don't have a definite release window for it. It's just supposedly coming in 2020. And with this list of all these other games that we've listed, we'll be all right if it doesn't come. But I still want to play this, Roots.
I wonder if it's timing. If it was me, if I was a developer and I knew like it was ready to go out, I would wait a little bit, because Alyx is about to drop, Walking Dead and Saints and Sinners is about to drop, VR is about to explode. And, with a game like this, you want the base to be there. And if you can have the base actually be there when you release, I mean, your odds of succeeding exponentially skyrocket, right? And unless they want to charge nothing for this game or $10, that's the biggest thing, man. Pavlov is one of the biggest games that is in VR, and people say it's for a lot of reasons, but it's $10, man. You get $10 all day, and it's one of the easiest no-brainer games to get into because it's so cheap, and it just it's one of those things that they need to time this right. So
yeah, I agree with it. Timing's very important, especially in today's world. But that's also a gamble because as the last few months have shown, the bar keeps raising, right? Where this game might have been the most amazing game we've ever seen a year ago. What's it going to look like compared to today's games? What's it going to look like after we have Half-Life Alyx and after we have Medal of Honor? You know what I'm saying? So yes, timing is perfect. I think that they should pick their week and their month carefully. But when you start talking about picking your year, that's a very dangerous prospect.
Yeah, but I'm not just talking a few months, man. I mean, we're still in the 2020, and if you just time it to when there's actually you're gonna burst people in. There's already a ton of people flooding in already, but I just think that you need to have that base. So.
Well, I'm sure it always helps when there's more people to sell to. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe that's it. Maybe they've just been waiting for their moment all this time. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
All right, one more highly anticipated game for the year 2020, and this is one that we just got the first footage of recently, but it's just coming up in Q2 like most of these games. Not very long to wait, and that is Pixel Ripped 1995. Roots, Pixel Ripped 1989. A fun game, a great game, one of the best Gen 1 experiences, especially if you're a retro gamer like I was coming into VR. But it looks like everything we liked about that first one, they're taking to the next level here, right?
Yeah, and even the games are, the what you're doing is cooler. Like, the other one, it's just like an original old school. It was like the same type of gameplay, was cool, but it was basic. This is more advanced. The games are more advanced, just like they were in 1995. Yeah, I really like what this team does with this game, and I'm excited to see the new one as well.
Yeah, they're obviously very creative people, not only with the concept for this world, but the different gameplay styles that they showed in the first game. Obviously, very creative people. Now, on top of that obvious gift, of creativity they have experience in developing VR games under their belt. So what that's going to allow them to do is to take that creativity to the next level even. So I think that's what we're going to see here. We're going to see an expansion like we have for most of these VR sequels. We're going to see more of what we liked to the nth degree, whereas the first generation was kind of a demonstration. The second generation going to be a full-fledged blockbuster game, and I think that certainly is going to be the case here.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. 10 bangers for the year 2020, the ones that everybody keeps talking about. These are the games that come up time and time again when you ask people, what are you looking forward to in this next year from VR? These are the ones invariably that people